Have you ever noticed how society picks the weirdest double standards? Spending thousands on a designer bag? Classy. Spending thousands on a virtual outfit? Cringe. Streaming video games for a living? Respected esports professional. Running a business in a virtual world? Get a real job. Selling bathwater? Entrepreneurial genius? Selling virtual real estate? What even is your life? Like, make it make sense. The internet literally changed how we work, make money, and connect. But somehow people still act like digital spaces are less real than physical ones. They're not. If you're still laughing at virtual worlds while billion-dollar brands are cashing in on them, I've got some bad news. You're the one getting left behind. So let's talk about it. All right, let's get one thing straight. If you're spending your time, energy, and emotions on something, it's real. Period. End of discussion. But for some reason, society still acts like the digital world is some lesser knockoff version of reality, like a store-brand cereal that almost tastes the same but is missing something. Oh, you spent all weekend designing your dream home in a virtual world? That's cute. Meanwhile, Karen from accounting spent the same weekend curating the perfect Instagram aesthetic, complete with rented luxury cars, fake smiles, and an outfit she returned the next day. But somehow, that's normal. So, what exactly makes something real? Is it money? Because people make real money online. Is it time? Because we spend a lot of time online. Is it emotion? Because trust me, nothing gets more emotional than an internet argument over pineapple on pizza. Yet, somehow, people still struggle to accept that digital spaces hold just as much value as physical ones. They'll say things like, but it's not real life. First of all, tell that to someone who found lifelong friends, built a business, or even met their partner online. You can't physically touch it, so it doesn't count. Cool. So by that logic, thoughts, emotions, and love don't count either. Good to know. It's just escapism. Oh, and binging Netflix for 12 hours straight isn't. Got it. The hypocrisy is unreal. We already live in a world where entire careers, economies, and relationships exist completely online. People are literally millionaires because they entertain strangers on Twitch. AI influencers are out here securing brand deals. And somehow, the biggest concern is whether someone spent too much time designing a virtual house. Listen, if we can accept spending thousands on JPEGs of monkeys, then we can accept that digital spaces are real. And honestly, for a lot of people, they feel more real than the physical world, not because they're disconnected from reality, but because they offer something reality doesn't. For some, that means freedom from limitations. Whether it's a disability that makes certain experiences impossible in real life, or social anxiety that makes connecting with others harder. For others, it's owning a home they'll never afford in reality, traveling to places they'll never get to visit, or exploring careers they were never given a shot at. Maybe you'll never be a famous musician in real life, but in a virtual space, you can have an audience, play live shows, and be heard. And yes, for many, it's escapism, not from life itself, but from its bullshit. Just like gamers log in to unwind, digital worlds offer a break from the stress, the politics, the daily grind, a place to breathe, to create, to exist, without the weight of reality crushing you for a little while. Even me, after a long day of dealing with real-life difficult people, there's nothing better than turning on my Xbox and shooting some aliens. It's not real, but it's the best damn stress relief I know. So tell me again why digital spaces don't count. when they offer people something real life never could. Yet society persists in treating the digital world as inferior, as if we haven't already blended real and virtual lives so much that we literally panic when Wi-Fi goes out. But okay, sure, virtual isn't real. Keep telling yourself that. Let's talk about selective judgment, because society loves to pick and choose what's acceptable online and what's cringeworthy. For example, spend hundreds of hours on a virtual world, customizing every detail, building something unique, maybe even making some money. Weird, you need to touch grass. But spend those same hours glued to Instagram, faking an aesthetic life, editing out every wrinkle and photoshopping your waist down to the size of a toothpick. Slay queen, manifest that influencer lifestyle. So let me get this straight. Curating a fake life for strangers is fine, but curating a digital world for yourself is weird. And we cannot talk about this double standard without mentioning gaming culture. Spend thousands of dollars on Fortnite skins? Normal. Drop $50 in Second Life to get an entire wardrobe, a house, a yacht, or even a freaking car. Suddenly, that's weird. Play Call of Duty for 6 hours straight? That's just gaming, bro. Build a virtual business in a platform like Second Life or the Metaverse? Cringe. Like, where's the logic? People praise esports competitors, streamers, and content creators, but the moment you mention virtual world economies, suddenly, everyone wants to act brand new. But it's not a real job. Oh, I'm sorry, Jacob. Do you think those millions of dollars made in digital spaces just disappear into the void? Because last time I checked, brands are spending billions on virtual experiences, skins, and metaverse activations, and content creators are laughing all the way to the bank. But sure, tell me more about how a virtual real estate developer is a loser, while some guy selling a pixelated monkey NFT for $500,000 is a financial genius. And don't even get me started on people who love to call others delusional for enjoying digital worlds, while they're out here emotionally attached to celebrities who don't even know they exist. Second Life is just adults playing dress up. Oh, and cosplaying as your favorite Marvel character every year isn't? People take virtual worlds too seriously. Yeah, because sports fans never take things too far, right? Have you seen what happens when a football team loses? Online friendships aren't real. Tell that to people who met their best friends, business partners, or even soulmates online. Because spoiler alert, it's 2025, friendships aren't determined by geography anymore. The reality is, digital life is already mainstream. The only reason people still judge virtual spaces is because they aren't cool enough to understand them yet. Give it 5 years and these same people will be begging for a spot in the metaverse while acting like they weren't talking smack about it the whole time. Now, let's talk about money. Because if there's one thing society loves, it's getting paid. We live in a time where people monetize literally anything. You can sell a lock of your hair and someone will buy it. People pay $20 a month just to see feet pics. Someone made thousands selling bathwater. Bath, water, and nobody blinks an eye. In fact, they respect it. Secure the bag. Hustle culture. Get that coin, queen. But the moment someone says, I make money in a virtual world, suddenly that's weird. But it's not a real job. Go outside. Make it make sense. So let me get this straight. Selling pictures of your body? Empowerment. Selling virtual real estate that people actually use? Cringe. Building a business on OnlyFans? Legit. Building a business in Second Life or other virtual worlds? Embarrassing. Society fully embraces the commodification of intimacy, but struggles with the monetization of creativity. And don't get me wrong, get your bag however you want. But why is one form of digital work respected while another is mocked? Take virtual designers, people who create digital clothing, furniture and experiences for platforms like Second Life, VR Chat or Roblox. They're running legitimate businesses with marketing, customer service, and actual revenue. But society still treats them like they're just playing games. Meanwhile, someone pretending to be rich on Instagram can get sponsorships, brand deals, and millions of followers, all for selling an illusion. And people eat it up. If it makes money, it's valid, until it doesn't fit the traditional narrative. The Metaverse is already a billion-dollar industry, and the biggest brands in the world are scrambling to stake their claim. If you think virtual fashion, assets, and businesses are just a fad, then explain why the biggest names in retail, fashion, and tech are investing millions into it. Nike, the virtual sneaker giant. Nike isn't just selling sneakers anymore. They're selling virtual sneakers. In 2021, they acquired RTFKT Studios, a company specializing in NFT sneakers and virtual collectibles. The idea? Sell digital-only shoes for avatars and Metaverse users. They've even launched Swoosh, a Web3 platform where users can buy, trade, and customize digital footwear and apparel. Some of these virtual sneakers have sold for over $100,000, yes, for shoes that exist only in the digital world. Gucci, designer bags that cost more than physical ones. In 2021, Gucci launched a virtual store inside Roblox, selling limited edition digital bags. One of these Gucci Dionysus bags sold for $4,115, more than the actual physical version. They also collaborated with The Sandbox, another Metaverse platform, where they built Gucci Vault, a virtual fashion world where users can explore, shop, and dress their avatars in Gucci digital wearables. And this isn't just a one-off publicity stunt. Gucci's CEO has openly said the brand is committed to expanding into the Metaverse long-term. Luxury brands are hosting virtual fashion shows and events. If you thought Fashion Week was limited to New York, Paris, or Milan, think again. Balenciaga partnered with Fortnite to sell digital designer outfits for in-game avatars. Dolce & Gabbana launched a $6 million NFT collection, proving that people will drop serious cash on purely digital luxury goods. Decentraland, a virtual world, hosted an entire Metaverse Fashion Week, featuring brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Estee Lauder, and Ali Saab. Big brands wouldn't be investing in virtual spaces if they didn't see massive profit potential. The takeaway: these are major corporations with billions of dollars in revenue. They don't gamble. They see where the world is heading, and they're securing their spot before everyone else catches on. Yet, somehow, if an independent creator makes money selling virtual assets, people act like it's a joke? Newsflash, the future isn't coming. It's already here. So the real question is, are you ahead of the curve? Or are you about to be the person playing catch-up while billion-dollar brands laugh their way to the bank? They look at you like you just admitted to living in your mom's basement. Society loves digital innovation only when it benefits the right people. And mark my words, in a few years, the same people who laughed at virtual jobs will be begging for them. You see it happen every single time. YouTubers weren't taken seriously. Now they're millionaires. Gamers were called losers. Now they're making six figures in esports. Crypto was a joke until banks started getting involved. So trust me, It's only a matter of time before people start pretending they always supported digital entrepreneurs. So, will you be ahead of the curve, or will you be the one playing catch-up? At this point, we've established that the digital world isn't some fringe hobby. It's the future. But let's talk about something that rarely gets discussed. If people are so concerned about what happens in virtual spaces, why do they completely ignore the actual nightmares happening on mainstream platforms? 1. The hypocrisy of dating apps. People love to clutch their pearls over virtual worlds. Second Life is full of cheaters. People catfish and lie about who they are online. It's dangerous to meet people in virtual spaces. Oh? You mean like every single dating app in existence? Let's be real. If we're going to talk about questionable online behavior, let's start with the real problem: dating apps. Apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge rake in billions of dollars while pretending they're helping people find love. Meanwhile, they've become ground zero for scams, catfishing, stalking, and actual crimes. Romance scams cost victims over $1.3 billion in 2022 alone. There are entire crime documentaries about people being kidnapped, trafficked, or worse because of dating apps. Even Ashley Madison, the infamous cheat on your spouse dating site, is still somehow a thing. Yet, society still treats dating apps as totally normal while calling people who use virtual worlds delusional. At least in virtual worlds, most people know it's a fantasy. The only illusion on dating apps is the belief that most people there are actually looking for love. 2. Social media, the real fake reality. Another thing that nobody talks about: social media is literally built on lies. People judge virtual world users for pretending to be rich by designing mansions and driving expensive cars in a game. But what do influencers do every single day? Pretend to be rich in real life. Influencers rent private jets for photo shoots without ever leaving the runway. TikTok entrepreneurs fake their entire business success just to sell courses that teach absolutely nothing. Instagram models edit themselves beyond recognition and pretend their whole life is perfect. And it's not just individuals. Entire industries run on deception. Social media platforms are stuffed with AI-generated influencers, making it impossible to tell what's real anymore. Fake dropshipping gurus scam people into thinking they'll be millionaires overnight. TikTok is full of staged pranks, fake relationships, and clickbait drama, all for views. And yet, society accepts this level of deception as totally normal, while acting like virtual world users are the ones out of touch with reality. Honey, the real fake life is happening on your Instagram feed, not in the Metaverse. 3. The dark side of influencer culture. And let's not forget the absolute insanity happening in the influencer world right now. Social media used to be about sharing moments. Now it's a full-blown cash grab. And some people are willing to do anything for content. Scammers are everywhere, selling courses, fake investments, and useless self-help guides. Fake charity influencers use sad stories just to rack up donations they never actually give to those in need. Some influencers have been exposed for literally abusing their own kids just for content. And we're supposed to believe virtual worlds are the biggest online problem? At least when people escape to a digital world, they're doing it for fun, creativity, and connection. Meanwhile, social media is filled with people destroying lives, spreading misinformation, and exploiting others, all while getting rewarded for it with brand deals and millions of dollars. 4th, So, why is virtual life more heavily scrutinized? If people are going to be concerned about online behavior, they should probably start with the places where real money is being stolen, real lives are being ruined, real crimes are happening. But instead, society still chooses to fixate on virtual worlds and mock people for living a fake life. Ironic, isn't it? If anything, virtual world users are more self-aware than most social media addicts. They know their mansions, cars, and designer outfits aren't real. They're playing in a space designed for creativity and escapism. Meanwhile, half of Instagram is desperately pretending their entire life is something it's not. So tell me, who's really out of touch with reality? And who actually decides what's normal and what's weird online? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that society loves to label things as cringe or irrelevant until they realize there's money to be made. Think about it. YouTubers were mocked for years. Now they're making millions, signing Netflix deals, and replacing Hollywood stars. Gamers were called losers until esports became a billion-dollar industry. And now parents are enrolling their kids in Fortnite coaching sessions. Crypto was a joke until Wall Street started investing in it. And now, virtual worlds, digital assets, and the Metaverse are next. What about the same people who laugh at virtual businesses, avatar customization, and digital economies? Give it 5 years. They'll be lining up to buy Metaverse real estate, investing in virtual brands, and pretending they supported it all along. Society always moves the goalposts. What's weird today is mainstream tomorrow. And the people who saw the vision early are the ones who win. So tell me, are you ahead of the curve, or are you waiting for permission to take digital spaces seriously? Now, before anyone says it, I know there are people who take virtual worlds way too seriously. We've all seen them, the ones who lose themselves in it, who forget to log off, who let a digital life take over their real one. I get it, but let's not act like this is something unique to Second Life or even virtual worlds in general. Because addiction, obsession, and extreme behavior, that's just part of human nature. We've seen people get completely consumed by World of Warcraft, playing for days straight, losing jobs, relationships, even their health. Kids have maxed out their parents' credit cards buying skins in Fortnite. Entire gambling addictions have been built around loot boxes in games. And instead of stopping it, developers just shrug and say, "Oh well, the game is free, we need to make money somehow." And don't even get me started on actual casinos, where people have lost their entire life savings chasing a jackpot that will never come. People take things too far in every aspect of life. It's not about where they are, it's about who they are. Some people get obsessed with fitness to the point of damaging their bodies. Some people are addicted to work and destroy their personal lives. Some people are obsessed with celebrities they'll never meet. And yet, for some reason, when someone gets too deep into a virtual world, that's where we draw the line? Look, I'm not saying there aren't real risks. There are. But let's not act like Second Life, video games, or virtual spaces create these extreme personalities. They don't. Those people would find something to latch onto no matter what. So yes, people can get too immersed in virtual spaces. But let's not pretend that's somehow worse than a gambling addiction, a social media obsession, or a kid blowing thousands on microtransactions in a free game. At the end of the day, balance is key, no matter what world you're in. At this point, we've laid it all out. The digital world is real, digital money is real, and digital businesses are thriving. But why is society still acting like it's 1999? We work online, we date online, we socialize online. Half of us can't even function without checking our phones every 5 minutes. We are already living in a digital first world. So why do people still treat digital careers, virtual communities, and online identities like some silly little hobby? Newsflash: the world is moving forward, with or without you. Think about how fast things are evolving. Remote work is becoming the norm. The AI revolution is changing entire industries. The metaverse isn't just an idea, it's already happening. And yet, people still scoff at the idea of making money in a virtual world. Nike, Gucci, and Balenciaga are selling virtual goods. Major corporations are buying up virtual real estate. Companies are hosting digital events, hiring digital influencers, and building digital-only brands. But sure, tell me again how running a business in a virtual world is weird. Look, I'm not here to pretend that the digital world is some utopia where everything is sunshine, rainbows, and pixelated butterflies. Bad things happen online, just like they do in real life. I just watched a documentary about a so-called wellness influencer and spiritual life coach who built a following on social media. It turns out she was allegedly involved in exploitation and human trafficking. And she's not the only one. Every day, we hear about another scammer, cult leader, fake guru, or influencer abusing their power, manipulating people, stealing money, or worse. And this isn't just a social media problem. Evil exists everywhere, in real life, in digital spaces, in communities that claim to be safe. The metaverse, virtual worlds, and gaming platforms aren't exempt from this. If someone is toxic, manipulative, or dangerous in real life, they will bring that same toxicity online. That's just how humans work. Bad people don't stop being bad just because they're behind an avatar. Scammers don't stop scamming just because they're using a digital storefront instead of a physical one. Abusers don't suddenly grow a conscience because they're in a virtual space. And that's why, no matter what space you're in, whether it's the real world, social media, or the metaverse, you still need to pay attention, protect yourself, and be aware. People love to point fingers at virtual spaces as if they're uniquely dangerous. But the reality is, every single place humans exist will have risks. So no, I'm not saying the digital world is perfect. What I'm saying is, it's no worse than the real world. It just wears a different skin. The solution isn't to fear digital spaces. It's to stay smart, ask questions, and never blindly trust anyone, no matter where you meet them. Because in the end, the internet doesn't create bad people. It just exposes them. Now, before anyone says it, I know there are people who take virtual worlds way too seriously. We've all seen them. The ones who lose themselves in it, who forget to log off, who let a digital life take over their real one. I get it. But let's not act like this is something unique to Second Life, or even virtual worlds in general. Because addiction, obsession, and extreme behavior, that's just part of human nature. We've seen people get completely consumed by World of Warcraft, playing for days straight, losing jobs, relationships, even their health. Kids have maxed out their parents' credit cards buying skins in Fortnite. Entire gambling addictions have been built around loot boxes in games, and instead of stopping it, developers just shrug and say, "Oh well, the game is free, we need to make money somehow." And don't even get me started on actual casinos, where people have lost their entire life savings, chasing a jackpot that will never come. People take things too far in every aspect of life. It's not about where they are, it's about who they are. Some people get obsessed with fitness to the point of damaging their bodies. Some people are addicted to work and destroy their personal lives. Some people are obsessed with celebrities they'll never meet. And yet, for some reason, when someone gets too deep into a virtual world, that's where we draw the line. Look, I'm not saying there aren't real risks. There are. But let's not act like Second Life, video games, or virtual spaces create these extreme personalities. They don't. Those people would find something to latch onto no matter what. So yes, people can get too immersed in virtual spaces. But let's not pretend that's somehow worse than a gambling addiction, a social media obsession, or a kid blowing thousands on microtransactions in a free game. At the end of the day, balance is key, no matter what world you're in. And while we're talking about people spending time and money in digital spaces, let's talk about The Sims. This year, The Sims turned 25. That's right. A quarter of a century of virtual houses, chaotic life choices, and drowning Sims in pools without ladders. And guess what? People of all ages are still playing. Some of them are content creators making serious money streaming their builds and mods. Sites like The Sims Resource have been charging memberships for custom content for decades. There are players in their teens, 20s, 30s, and beyond who have been playing for years. I played it, my kids played it, and my daughter, who is now 30, married and a mum, is still playing it. So, let's be honest. If The Sims can thrive for 25 years, why do people act like virtual worlds are some weird new thing? Of course, The Sims is a bit different from platforms like Second Life, VR chat, or even Roblox. It's an actual game designed for single-player experiences where you control your Sims rather than interact with others in real time. But that hasn't stopped players from asking for multiplayer. In fact, it's been one of the most requested features for years. And while it's not an open-ended virtual world, it still fosters the same creativity, self-expression, and digital storytelling that virtual platforms are built on. And here's an interesting part. Many of the best-known Sims creators are also creating in other virtual platforms like Second Life, Roblox, and IMVU. If you can build a dream home in The Sims, you can do it in Second Life. If you can design custom content in The Sims, you can sell digital fashion on other platforms. If you love crafting unique stories in The Sims, you'll find entire roleplay communities in virtual worlds. So really, The Sims isn't separate from the Metaverse conversation, it's part of the same creative ecosystem. And even though people keep saying The Sims' reign is over, especially with Inzoi on the horizon, The Sims 4 is still going strong. Players are spending real money on expansion packs, mods, and custom content. The creativity in the Sims community is insane as people build entire worlds, tell stories, and create stunning homes. And even with new competitors entering the space, The Sims still holds a massive dedicated player base. Because at the end of the day, virtual creativity isn't a trend, it's a fundamental part of how people express themselves. So if millions of people can spend years designing dream homes and crafting digital lives in The Sims, tell me again why it's so weird to do the same thing in Second Life, VR chat, or other virtual worlds. If anything, this just proves that digital spaces, creativity, and online communities are here to stay. So, at the end of the day, who actually decides what's normal and what's weird? Because if billion-dollar brands are selling virtual sneakers, influencers are faking entire lives for content, and people are out here making six figures off feet pics. Maybe, just maybe, we should stop judging people for how they choose to exist online. Yes, bad things happen in digital spaces, just like they do in the real world. There will always be people who take things too far, fall into addiction, or use online platforms for the worst reasons. But that's not a virtual world problem. That's a human problem. For every person lost in a digital obsession, there's another using virtual spaces to overcome real-life barriers, unlock creativity, or build opportunities they'd never have otherwise. Whether it's someone with disabilities finding freedom in a virtual body, an artist selling their work in digital economies, or a gamer unwinding after a long day, this world offers more than people give it credit for. And if The Sims has lasted 25 years, with players of all ages still building, creating, and telling stories, isn't it time we acknowledge that digital life isn't just a fad? It's part of how people play, connect, and express themselves. So if you're still laughing at Second Life, the Metaverse, or digital worlds, while the rest of the internet is making money, forming communities, and evolving with technology, I hate to break it to you, but you're the one getting left behind. And hey, if you haven't checked out Second Life, maybe give it a shot. Worst case, you get a good laugh. Best case, you realize the digital world is a lot bigger and a lot more real than you thought. Because the future isn't coming, it's already here. The only question is, are you ready for it?